I watch a lot of videos these days. For me, it's a good way to learn about new developments or look for inspiration. But I found video search a little bit inadequate. Don't get me wrong, they work really well for searching things by content, but maybe not so much if I want to find clips with, say, code examples or clips that look a certain way. And that's because video search typically ignores the actual visual part of the video. Instead, searches use text metadata like the title and the description, or the video's transcript. So I built this application. When I run a search here, the app finds clips by matching my query to each clip's visual and audio components. Think about how much easier it would be to search clips like this if you had videos containing a particular product or maybe a background object. Today, I'll show you how I built this app and what's going on under the hood. I'll provide the code base which you can run for free so you can adapt it for your own video search application as well. Let's get into it, starting with why this problem exists in the first place. The main reason that video searches don't actually use visuals is simple. We just haven't had good ways to search videos while we're really good at text search. But if you think about it, it's not ideal that a video search isn't actually based on what's on the screen. It's a bit like Minecraft without mining or crafting. It might work, but it ignores a critical piece, and it's also just deeply unsatisfying in my opinion. And I think we can do better than that by adopting video-enabled multimodal embedding models. You probably know what embedding models are. They power vector search by capturing the meaning of text into a series of numbers. The more similar the meanings, the closer the embeddings. Multimodal embeddings can convert not just text, but other media like images. One famous example of this being the clip family of models. Some models, like Jina's V5 Omni family, can do this for even more modalities like audio or video, meaning that you can even embed sounds like a cat meowing into a microphone, and the result would be close to the embedding of the text cat. That's what powers the app you saw at the start, and while embedding a video sounds complex, it's actually relatively straightforward. As a user, the code can be as simple as this if you're using an API to embed your media. You simply send a video, for example, and get back an embedding. And the architecture to build an app like mine isn't too complicated either. If you've used vector search before, this should seem familiar to you. But there are a few key decisions that you should be aware of, so let's take a look, starting with chunking. Chunking just means splitting up the input. For text, that means cutting up a long document into shorter texts. This means a search can match and return a specific part of your document. So a search with good chunking will return the right passage rather than saying the answer is somewhere in a document. That same need exists in video retrieval. You can imagine it's not so useful for a video search to return the entire meeting recording or even a 15-minute YouTube video. It would be so much better for the search to return a specific clip. But how should you chunk a video? Well, in my opinion, there are three main strategies that you should consider. These are chunking by fixed length, by semantics using the transcript, and by visual changes. And the good news is you can apply any of these using commonly available open source libraries. Just like text, fixed length chunking is basic but robust. It allows you to be as granular as you want by setting the length of each clip. Or you could generate a transcript and apply a text-based chunking method. This is especially good where the spoken word dominates, like meetings or instructional videos. So once you've chunked the text, you can use the generated timestamps to cut the videos. But this next chunking method might be the most interesting of them all. I think of it as the semantic chunking but applied to the visuals, not words. Let's call this scene-based or visual chunking. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel to do this either. There are existing tools like PySceneDetect, which will look at the movie, detect any changes in the visual characteristics, and output a list of scene boundaries. All you have to do then is to get those scene markers and split the video using another tool. The result being a set of scenes that reflect the creator's visual choices like these. A change in the visual, like a change of the shot in a film or change in graphics, typically leads to separate scenes. And once you've set up chunking, there's just one more decision to make before creating embeddings. That is, deciding what to embed. And let me explain what I mean by that. A video is composed of really three layers of information: the visual layer, the speech layer, and the audio layer. Now, I'm counting audio and speech separately here, which you might find surprising. Well, that's because there's plenty of information in sound that's not speech, like this. This clip has a lot of audio but no speech. You can think of other examples like music, animal noises and so on, which isn't speech but carries plenty of information. Embedding models like Jina's Omni-model give you the options to capture as much of these as you want, meaning that embeddings can be based on any one or even any combination of these three layers. And you should make this choice based on your goals and the nature of your videos. If you're primarily needing visual inspiration or assets, maybe you just want the visual embedding by itself. But if you're often looking through, say, meetings, you might want to concentrate on the speech, maybe just via the transcript. You can actually save multiple embeddings per clip too with Elasticsearch, and it's not a problem since the model puts them all into the same embedding space. Let me show you what I did for this demo app and why. My goal was to build a library of clips from talks and so on to find technical information, but also I wanted to see how information was presented. So I chose to create 2 embeddings per video, one embedding based on the speech from the transcript and another one combining the audio and the visual. Here, I extract the audio from the video clip with FFmpeg. Both the video and the audio files are provided to the model together like this, which produces one embedding. And second, I produce an embedding of the transcript by passing the transcript file into the model. Let's go back to that Kindle search you saw at the start of the video. That result, as you can see from the little badge here, comes from the combined audio-visual embedding. For this search, the clip's transcript is irrelevant and wouldn't have been useful at all. And I was trying different queries and I came across an interesting result. I found that when I search for the word Batman, it finds this clip of me as the best hit. Now, it's not that the model's uncovered my tortured past and secret identity. I think instead what's happening is this. The video embedding is taking this background Batman figure into account and identifying these clips as the closest hits to Batman, even though it's just a small background item in the video. And that's a nice segue into what it all means and some of the trade-offs, because there are a few things you should be aware of and some things that I do differently, even for this demo app. One thing for you to keep in mind is that vector embeddings are deep learning models and aren't necessarily very explainable. This is a big difference to keyword or BM25 searches. Keyword searches are based on exact matches and a formula, so you can easily verify and explain them. But embedding models are deep learning models, which are notorious black boxes. Let's take that Batman search, for example. There, I can take a pretty good educated guess as to why that clip of me with the Batman figure is the closest one in the library. But it's basically impossible for me to know for sure, and I wouldn't be able to break down how much of the embedding's meaning comes from the figure as opposed to everything else in that embedding. In some fields, that lack of explainability may be an issue. Now, just to be clear, all vector searches have this limitation of low explainability, so this isn't unique to video searches, but you should be aware of it as a general issue. My second note is that video embeddings are based on sampling. The Jina model that I used here creates each embedding based on up to 32 sampled frames of a video. That means as the source video gets longer and the more scene changes, the more information will be missed. This is another very important reason to get chunking right. Speaking of which, I used scene-based chunking, but on reflection, maybe I think that might not have been the best choice. Most of these videos that I've collected here are technical videos. Though they're not like Hollywood movies, these videos don't involve much camera movements or set changes. Instead, technical videos are largely script-driven, with the visuals being somewhat secondary. So thinking about it again, I actually think semantic chunking based on the script may have been better. Lastly, you should be aware of the time taken to process and embed these videos. I'm running everything for this demo locally on my MacBook Pro using open source Elasticsearch and open weight versions of Jina models. But between the video processing and using the V5 Omni small model, my little Mac is doing a fair bit of work. So if you need real-time embeddings of videos or have a lot of videos to process, I'd recommend that you try it out and make sure that the processing time is acceptable to you, because video processing and embedding takes a fair bit of compute. And that's to be expected. And if you have access to GPUs, you'll probably be able to do this much faster than me on my laptop. You can also use the Jina API to generate embeddings and just pay for what you use, which might be a great solution for many of you. With all that said, I hope I was able to convince you that video search can and should be better, that you can find the right clips by what's on the screen, by what was said, or some combination of those. As I said, the repo for this application is available on GitHub, and to use it, just clone the repo and follow the README. It's just a few commands to set up and get going. And as I said, I've built this with the open source version of Elasticsearch and the open weight Jina model. Note that for commercial use, you should use the Jina API or talk to Elastic's sales team if you want to self-host the model. Now, I built this app to search my technical content library, but I'd also love to hear what you might use these tools for. Is it internal meetings, a library of personal videos, or maybe you're a cat videos and memes mogul? Let me know in the comments because I do read all of them and I'm super interested to hear what you do with these models. In fact, I'd love it if you just wanted to say hi on the comments because I do sometimes wonder if anyone watches this far. I'll tell you what, if you ever write hi in the comments, I promise I'll write back. If this video was useful, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel because it does help others like you discover the content and make use of it. Okay, thanks everyone, and I'll see you shortly.